let's face it, I can't review rap for shit. So it's time for another album review, and this one's actually going to be with something that I'm a little bit more accustomed with, not to mention something that I can analyze a little bit better, and that's something progressive rock-y, so to speak. Got the glasses on. Someone made the comment I kind of look like Steven Wilson. Well, let's talk about a Steven Wilson project that had a album come out, actually, well, it was a day or so ago, however. Here in the States, if you're fortunate enough to find it, Blackfield's Welcome to My DNA is now available. Now, this is a collaborative effort between Steven Wilson of Porcupine and Aviv Geffen, and this is the third album that they have released, and their first since 2007's 2, which followed up 2004's, well, 1. So they kind of stripped themselves of the numerical sequence and opted to use an actual title for this particular release. 11 tracks, just under 40 minutes, and this is what I have to say about the project in general. The project is a little bit different than what you would expect from, well, if you were listening to a new Porcupine Tree record. There's a lot more of a metal influence, a progressive metal side to the Porcupine Tree franchise right now. However, if you take a look all the way back, there's a lot of dreamy, a lot of melancholic elements to some of their very, very early recordings, but always had that little hint of metal inside of them. However, this is more of a disposal point where these two are able to collaborate and create something that truly breeds a simple melancholic tone, and it's something that's apparent here on Welcome to My DNA, perhaps more than 1 and 2 combined. Because 1 and 2, while it did have its elements of depressing fervor, there is still a lot of songs on both of those two records that do strike kind of a more positive chord. Welcome to My DNA doesn't exactly follow that same stripped-down formula of semi-happiness, semi-slumber. This is actually an album that really sticks with that whole more downtrodden state of things, and the whole idea of Welcome to My DNA is almost like saying, well, welcome to me, welcome to the person who I am, welcome to what I have to live with. If you take a look at the album's artwork, you can kind of see this kind of represented in a very dreamy style fashion. It's a guy that's peering outside of a giant window that you would potentially see at a very large office building. Either that or somebody who's really made it to the tip top of a large complex or a large almost Trump-like hotel building, just kind of admiring a literal skyline where the only thing that you see are clouds and the heavens that are perceived in front of him. And this is something where it's almost like, well, this is what I see. I see this, absolutely beautiful environment, but yet I can't help but notice that I'm all alone. And this melancholic feel is prevalent throughout this whole entire album, and it's filled with multiple stylings and undulations of this particular theme, including a song called Go to Hell that some people may like, some people may not. However, I have to say it's probably one of the most silent and almost, kind fuck yous in the history of music to begin with. This is not a song where he's going to triumphantly boast either that or yell at the top of his lungs, fuck you. Instead, he's just going to do it in a very kind of calm and, almost very stagnant, not very kinetic, but very static demeanor. It's something where he's saying it, and it almost delivers itself as a little bit more potent, even though it may be perceived by some as hokey. There's a lot of different things that you can notice on this particular record. You can notice the difference between Aviv and Steven Wilson's voice. There are clear-cut differences, even though the two may sound very similar. You can notice that Steven's voice rings a little bit more, with a little bit more power, and Aviv's is a little bit softer, a little bit more beautiful, a little bit more form-fitting for the music that's behind it. But overall, all the pieces come together extremely nicely in this album. This is an album that I would have to say is very dreamlike, even though it does have kind of that downtrodden state, as I mentioned earlier. The melancholy is not necessarily enveloped by the fact that this is exactly what they were going for. Instead, it's evolved with that dreamlike element to actually bring across a very, just a very relaxed environment to this whole thing, almost as though the depression is attempting to seep into your veins. However, you're in this kind of syndicated, perfect dream state, and this is just the thing that you see. The melancholy element to it is perhaps the fact that your dream state, your perfect elements, your perfect location, your perfect harmony is actually much like and much akin to the life that you are in fact living, which may seem as though it would have a very positive air to it. However, whenever you once again take a look and eyeball the cover art, well, you might just be alone. Overall, this is an album that maybe doesn't exactly shine forth as well as number 1 and number 2 did earlier on in the 2000s. However, this is an album that definitely stays true to its own identity. It's not something that likes to divert from itself, and it's also one that if you are a fan of Blackfield, well, you're going to enjoy this one. This is another enjoyable album, a passable album for this particular group. Got to give it a strong, solid 7. And once again, Steven Wilson, man. Steven Wilson. This guy has like 75,000 projects. Gotta love it. You gotta love the man for what he is able to accomplish. Would love to hear something new from the incredible expanding mindfuck, but hey, that's just a guy talking here. Hopefully we will see it sometime soon. Hopefully we'll also have a new Porcupine Tree album sometime soon, because you know how excited I get about that. I practically wet myself. But at any rate, guys, Porcupine Theater was my old name. So you can definitely tell that I liked Porcupine Tree. And I definitely fucked that up just now. But coverkillernation signing off by saying, the dream is sometimes an applied reality that is granted upon us whenever our mind is the most attuned to what our heart has to say. That's a quote you can use on your Facebook walls, kiddies.